on 30th May 2016, I wrote my exam, and that exam was for Goethe Certificate B2 in Goethe Institute, New Delhi. If you see right here, you see the date, 30 May 2016, New Delhi. All right. And I passed the exam. It was not that great. Got the result on 29th June 2016. Then afterwards, after around 45 days, I wrote the test of exam. And in test of exam, I got 5 out of 5 in reading, 5 out of 5 in listening, 3 out of 5 in writing, and 4 out of 5 in speaking, right? And this was 6 years ago. Now, 6 years ago is a grandpa age if you think about it, right? And this was everything before I went and did my master's in German taught program. I actually shifted 2 German taught master's programs. First was structural engineering, which was in German taught. Second one was international management engineering, right? And all of the results that you see right now, this entire story, this is the story before I even got inside and actually started learning German. Because before that time, I was never really spending any kind of decent amount of time in Germany so that I could practice German and so on, right? So I have been through the path that many of the students right now who are thinking about, coming to Germany and are learning German right now, they are on the same path like I was. Maybe there are some differences here and there, but more or less it is almost the same, right? But there are 3 mistakes that almost every single one makes, and they have been rather programmed to make with all of the, many of the language institutions, the language coaches and so on. And this gets kind of even worse when you're speaking to somebody who is, a language teacher who is not having German as the native language, because they tend to make some kind of mistakes. And the funny thing that I find about them is that most of them, the only thing that is going to be visible to you is going to be a sentence that they would have practiced 100 times, so that they know that when they're speaking it in front of you, they sound like they know perfect German and that they cannot make any kind of mistake. And this is something I find absolutely ridiculous. And I'm talking about everybody, your Indian German teachers, your African German teachers, your Spanish German teachers, whatsoever. Anybody who learned German and then afterwards is teaching German, they will make mistakes. And the only time they will not make mistakes is when they're having a book in front of their hand and they're saying the exact same sentence which is written in the book. That's the only time. Otherwise, you end up making mistakes. You even end up messing up the nouns. Sometimes you end up messing up the genders. Happens to most of us, right? German is a language which takes time and it takes practice to master. But what these teachers do is they set different kind of expectations. So with that, I want to tell you about the first thing. What's the first biggest problem that German teachers essentially tell you to do? And that is speak correctly from the starting itself. A lot of people say that in the starting itself, you should already, start speaking, you should start practicing on how to speak with each other and so on. And from there, students get the stress that, okay, I have to start speaking right away. That's a slippery slope, because if you think about it, when you're learning a new language, the first thing that you have to start doing is reading. When you read things, it goes into your brain, right? Then reading gets combined with listening, and that builds up more of a complete language, because unless you're seeing something in writing itself, you are not hearing something, you're not able to connect these 2 things. So reading, then afterwards came writing. These are the passive ways of consuming information, right? Then afterwards, reading and then afterwards listening. Afterwards comes writing, so that you are kind of reproducing the information. After that came speaking, because with that, speaking actually requires a lot more of your brain. And even though you might be making longer sentences and you must be thinking, okay, I have it correctly in my mind, but when you say it, you end up messing it. Happens to so many of us. Tell me one time when you went to a stage and you had to give some kind of speech or something. You had to give some kind of presentation. I think all of us have been there, right? When you do that, in the end, you end up realizing there were so many things that I wanted to say in the presentation. There were so many things that I wanted to say in this live session. There were so many things that I wanted to say to, I don't know, whatever person you're speaking to, but you end up missing it, right? Happens. It's completely normal. That's why it is very important to manage your expectations from the very starting. When you're learning a new language, it is very important that you don't build these expectations that I have to speak correctly everything from the starting. You will not get it done. You watch my German vlogs right now. We have 4 German vlogs out on Bharat in German YouTube channel, right? Any native German who is going to go and watch the vlog, he's also going to pick up my mistakes here and there. Why? I'm not having a book in front of me and I'm not reading out things to you. I want to be real. I want to show you that I went through all of this. I learned German. I have cleared the B2 exam 6 years ago. I've gone through the masters in a German taught program. I cleared the masters in 2 years itself. It was not a problem at all. And if I can do it, and if I'm still having some kind of mistakes right now, that means you can also get through all of this right now. And you just have to manage your expectations a little bit, because if you constantly have this bar for yourself that if I'm not able to say this sentence correctly, it's all downhill from there. You're going to lose motivation really quickly and you will never have the courage to go and speak to somebody in German. That's very, very important. I cannot emphasize it enough. All right. And anybody who is agreeing, or you have a small aha moments going on, you let me know in the chat and you share this live afterwards with somebody else, whoever needs to hear this. Second thing is also a big mistake that many people make. And this is learning things which are not necessary for a level, right? Which slows your learning. What do I mean by this? Look, especially in India, we have a lot of this coaching institute mindset, right? That, oh my God, we have to, in 10th grade, we have to study for the 11th grade. In 11th grade, we have to study for the 12th grade and the BTech first year or something, so that we are able to clear the exam much better, right? So a lot of people have this idea, and that's not so smart when you're thinking about learning a new language, because languages have different levels. You have A1 level, completely beginner, A2 level, B1 level, B2 level, C1, C2. C2 is the native level and A1 is the completely beginner level, right? And these things have been structured in a way so that it is the easiest for you to progress from one level to the other level without messing all of the learning that you've had so far. Because if you overcomplicate things that you're seeing, learning becomes a very complicated issue, and then afterwards you just want to drop out. That's also not nice. You don't want to do that. Right? So this is the reason, if you feel like there's something which has to be done at the next level, if you're able to understand it, great. I'm not telling you to, so there are some people I'm going to block afterwards. I've made some screenshots. For example, this guy's writing, I want to make a German girlfriend for marrying. Such a piece of shit. I don't think you're going to find anybody with that kind of attitude. Right. So these people really annoy me, because this is just a very disgusting attitude. All right. Slows your learning, right? So very important. If you see something which is on a higher level, which is not coming to your level right now, if you can understand it, great. Otherwise, it is going to come to the next level. It doesn't have to be there at the moment. All right. So now comes the third thing that I want to speak about. And the third thing is very important. And that is generally something that people who are learning on their own face, and that is either having no structure, and the only sentence that they're saying is I spent X time on Duolingo, or I had 10-day streak on Duolingo. I had 40-day streak of Duolingo. They're just bragging to everybody. Look at my streak on Duolingo. Look, Duolingo as an app has been optimized so that they're making users spend most of the time on the app itself, right? It does not necessarily mean that it is the fastest way to learn. It does mean that you'd be repeating yourself a lot, and you'd be repeating yourself in places where you don't really need to repeat yourself. I would 100% not just argue, but guarantee you, if you'd spend the exact same number of time that you're putting on Duolingo, and you just pick any A1 book and you spend the exact same time with the A1 book and Google Translator, you'd go further much more than you'd go with Duolingo, right? Duolingo gives you this false feeling that I have been consistent, I have been doing something, And even though maybe every second or third day you have absolutely no desire of learning or repeating whatever kind of sentences Duolingo throws at you, but this feeling that I don't want the streak to get lost, that's stupid. That is a hook, and this is something that you have to keep in mind, right? Rather pick up a book and listen. All of these things I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you from experiences I had 6 years ago. And all of those experiences are still true today. Even more so. Because Duolingo used to be still a better app at that time, because they were not having apps. They were really focusing on value only. And they were making sure that there are like different kind of forums and stuff where people can speak. Now Duolingo also has closed the forums. So you cannot like also discuss with each other, which is also a bit sad, because Duolingo forums used to be very interesting. So the app used to be better. It is not the same right now. It has gotten more playful, it has more fancy features, but I would really say if you're actually serious about your language learning, you will not waste time on Duolingo and any kind of like free apps where you don't have any kind of structure. Look, I totally understand that, you want to do things on your own. I also did things on my own. I didn't have the Faster German course or any other German course which was affordable at my time. So I had to get the books, I got the books, I had the YouTube videos, I was going back and forth, and I had made a lot of mistakes with that. Right? You also see that in my B2 result. My B2 result was 75 or something out of 100. And this is because I didn't have any kind of like professional help, right? No structure, nothing. I was just like learning what I can. So if you're able to get a structure and if you're able to get it at an affordable price, look, there will be nothing more affordable than books, right? So at least get the books. Get books, and then afterwards you have also, for example, with Faster German, you have a super affordable course now, just for 5,000 Indian rupees. You have A1, you have then same level for A2, same price for A2, same price for B1. So you have this structure right now where things, if you're not able to understand something, you're able to understand it by somebody else who is teaching you right now, right? So these three things are very important. Have a structure for yourself, manage your expectations for every single level, because even when you're at B2, when you're at C1, when you're going to any kind of presentation or something, you're going to any kind of speech, when you're speaking to any kind of person, you'd sound much more smarter in your head than you will actually be sounding there. And don't worry about it. This is a starting mistake that all of us have, but it gets better with time, right? So that's another thing that you have to keep in mind, and learning things which are not necessary. Like, don't do that. You'll be just like killing your progress. All right. So these three things I wanted to tell you, because again, I have learned German myself, and that was a struggle, right? I made a lot of mistakes, and I'm admitting it right now. There are so many German teachers who try to sound so absolutely perfect that there's nothing wrong with them, and they will say every single sentence right. But when you speak to them face to face, because Alina and I, we have had that experience, especially in India, when we were going around and speaking to different kind of language institutes and speaking to the people there. Nope. When you speak face to face, either they will not want to talk to you in German completely, or when they do, they'd be using their same old words that they have been using for a very long time, right? We want to keep it real. We want to tell you exactly how it is. And this is the reason I'm just making this short video, because I don't have the time to put up a proper video on YouTube. I will just re-upload it on YouTube. But anybody else who's watching on YouTube, follow me on Instagram, because sometimes I feel very strongly about a topic, and then I don't want to wait. I just want to quickly go live, tell the people who are looking up to me exactly what the story is, so that they can save some of their lifetime doing something better. All right, this was it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. And share it with anybody you think who needs to hear this. Bye.